Hello everyone, good day. So for today's activity, we need to draw a flower blooming using a motion tween. So let's begin. So these are the steps that we need to follow. So unang gagawin natin na part is the stem of the flower. So paano po siya gagawin? We need to click the draw tool on the toolbox. Okay. And after clicking the draw tool, you must go to the tool properties panel and select outline layer. So under layer types, we only need to select outline layer. Next, after changing the layer types, we can now proceed with the outline color. So we need to change it into color green or any color that you want for the flower. Okay, and make sure that you change the brush size. Okay, para mas makita natin or mas makapal yung kanyang itsura on the canvas. Next, after that, let's draw the stem and then go to the layers panel, then rename the layer as stem. Okay, so let's proceed in Synfig. So let's click Synfig. Okay, now in creating the stem, we need to click the draw tool on the toolbox. Then after that, go to the layer types in the tool properties panel. We only need to select outline layer. Next, after that, go to the outline color. Make sure that you need to change it into color green or any color that you want for the flower. And then make sure that you change the brush size, so at least 10. And then let's create a stem of the flower. Okay, let's create the stem of the flower. So as easy as that, we have already the stem of the flower. This will serve as the stem of the flower. Now, after that, you must go to the layers panel, click the layers or the layer of the stem. Then let's rename it as stem. Okay, we're now done with the stem of the flower. Let's proceed with another part. So kapag tapos ng ating stem, we can now proceed with the center part of the flower. Okay, so what particular tool do we need to use? We need to use the circle tool. Okay, let's click circle tool. And after that, on the tool properties panel, under layer types, we only need to select circle layer. Again, click circle tool on the toolbox, then on the tool properties panel, under layer types, we need to select create circle layer or circle layer. And after that, go to the fill color. You need to change it into color yellow or any color that you want. Then let's draw the center of the flower, or let's draw a circle above the stem that we created. Okay, then after that, go to the layers panel, rename the layer of it as flower center. So let's go back to Synfig. Let's click circle tool on toolbox. Make sure that on the layers panel, on the tool properties panel, you must select circle layer. And after that, go to the fill color, try to change it into color yellow or any color that you want for the flower. And after that, let's create a circle above the stem. Okay, then go to the layers panel, rename it as flower center. Okay, so we have now two different parts on the flower. Now let's proceed with another part. Let's go back in Synfig or in the presentation. We can now proceed with the drawing of the petals. Okay, we need to draw the petals now. So ano pong gagamitin? Let's go back to the toolbox. We need to select the draw tool. Okay, then on the layer types, we only need to select region layer. We only need to select region layer. Okay, and on the fill color, you can change it into color pink or any color that you want. Okay, so for this activity, we need to draw 5 petals. Okay, but before we draw those particular petals, we need to know first these particular steps. So after creating a petal, you must rename it. Okay, you must rename the layers of it as petal 1. Okay, as you draw a particular petal, okay, you need to automatically change the name of it on the layers panel. Okay, so para maiwasan din natin yung pagkakaroon ng problema. Okay? Or pagkalito dun sa pag-create ng ating mga petals. At the same time, you must keep the petals smaller than the center of the flower. Okay? So kung ano yung kinreate natin na center of the flower kanina, dapat yung kikreate natin na petals is mas maliit, okay, dun sa ating center of the flower or yung circle na kinreate natin kanina. Okay? And after that, go to the layers panel. Once na na-rename na natin or nakapag-create na tayo ng mga petals, we need to click lower layer, okay, to put the petals under the center layer. So proper arrangement on the layers panel. And last thing that we need to do is to group the stem, the center of the flower, and also the petals. Then rename the group as flowers. Okay, so enough of those instructions. Let's proceed now on Synfig Studio. Let's try to do those steps. So let's click Draw Tool in the toolbox. And after that, you must go on the Tool Properties panel. Let's click Region Layer. So you please deselect all other layer types. We only need to select Region Layer. Then go to the Fill Color. Try to change it into color pink or any color that you want for the activity. Okay, now you can zoom in. Okay, so that we can create much appropriate or much proper petals. Okay, so let's try to create. So let's have the petal one. So I have already the petal one. So once you create a particular petal, you must go on the layers panel and rename it as petal one. Okay, next, go back to Draw Tool again, create another petal. Okay, then after that, click again the layers of it, rename it as petal 2. Okay, after drawing, or after natin mapag-create ng petal, didiretso agad tayo kay layers panel para i-change yung name niya, para maiwasan yung pagkalito. Let's have another one. Okay, so change ulit natin yung name niya as petal 3. Okay, next, let's create another one. Change ulit natin yung name as petal 4. Okay, the next, other one, next particular petal. Okay, then rename it also as petal 5. Okay, so we are now then creating those petals, okay, for the flower. Now, what is the next step that we need to do? A proper arrangement on the layers panel. Okay, the petals must be behind the flower center. Okay, what are we going to do? Let's click those layers to the petal. Like for example, for petal 1, right-click on it. Look for lower layer. So make sure na nasa ilalim na po siya ng flower center na layer on the layers panel. So let's proceed with petal 2. Let's click again lower layer. Petal 3, click again lower layer. Petal 4, click again lower layer. Then petal 5. Okay, so as you can see on the canvas, yung ating petals is behind then sa ating flower center. Okay, so we already proper arrange those layers on the layers panel. So last thing that we need to do is to select all the layers and to group it as one. Let's select all those layers. Let's click group layer, then rename natin siya as flower. Okay, so we have now one big group on the layers panel and the name of it is flower. Now inside of it are the layers of the different parts of the flower. Okay, now let's go back to the presentations. Let's have the next steps. So after creating the petals, we can now add another design, which is a sun. Okay, so for the sun, we just need to click circle tool on the layers panel. On the toolbox. Okay, then after that, go to the layer, then the tool properties panel. Please select region layer. Okay, then let's create a circle, okay, on top upper right corner of our canvas. Again, let's create a circle on the upper right corner of the canvas. And after that, let's rename the layers of it, or the layer of it, as sun. So let's go back to Synfig. Okay, let's click circle tool. Okay, so you don't need to change the layer types. It must be circle layer or region layer. Okay, next, go to the fill color. You can change it into color yellow. So it depends in you kung ano pong gusto natin gamitin na color. Okay, and after that, let's create a circle on the upper right corner of the canvas. Okay, on this particular part on the canvas. Next, let's click the layer of it and rename it as sun. Okay, so for this activity, this will serve as the characters. Okay, so we have the flowers and the sun. So let's go back to the presentation. Let's check what are the next steps. Okay, so the next steps for the activity is to animate the object. Okay, animate the object. So unang gagawin natin is to move out the sun out of the canvas. Okay, move out the sun out of the canvas. Okay, so lalabas muna natin siya ng canvas. At the same time, we need to move the petals inside the layer center. Okay, inside the circle that we have for the flower. Okay, let's go back to Synfig. Let's try to do those two particular steps. So let's click first yung ating sun na group. Okay, we need to move out of the canvas. Lalabas muna natin siya ng canvas. What else? We need to go inside the flower group. Okay, inside the flower group. Now, let's click those petals that we have. Okay, let's click petal 1. Then let's place it inside the flower center. Okay, petal 2, let's place it inside the center of the flower. So how are we going to do that? All you need to do is to click the layer, then look for the color green handle. Okay, the color green handle, and then place it inside the flower center. Next one is the petal 3. Let's look for the green handle, then place it inside the flower center. Next, the petal 4. Use again the position handle or the color green handle. And then the petal 5. Okay, so as you can see on the canvas, okay, the sun is out of the canvas. What else? The petals of the flower is inside the flower center. Okay, next, let's go back to the presentation. So next thing that we need to do is to turn on the animate editing mode. So the green man icon on the canvas window. So we need to click it. Okay, so we need to turn on the animate editing mode. Next, we need to go to the time track and then click 24 frames. Okay, we need to click 24 frames in the time track. And after that, we can now select the transform tool. So let's try to do those particular steps. So let's go back to Synfig. Now, what are we going to do? Let's click the turn on animate editing mode, so the green man icon. Okay, next, go to the time track. Okay, look for 24 frame. Okay, if hindi available yung 24 frame, you can click any particular frames as long as nandito po siya muna sa unang part. Okay, next, after that, after clicking the time track, okay, after clicking 24 frame on the time track, if hindi pa po natin nasa-select si transform tool, you need to click it first. Okay, yeah, so those are the things that we need to do. Now, let's go back to the presentation. Let us check again. What are the next steps? Yeah. So after clicking the transform tool, we need to click the sun group, okay, or the sand layer on the layers panel. Okay, then we can now start entering it in the canvas. So let's try to do that on Synfig. So let's click the layers of the sun. Okay? Then move natin siya dahan-dahan papasok dun sa ating canvas. Okay? So once we click 24 frames, okay, 24 frames. Yeah. So, and then minove natin yung particular na character, there will be a waypoints. Okay, may waypoints po na mag-a-appear. Next. Let's go back to the presentation. Let us check what are the next steps. After clicking or after moving the sun layer inside the canvas, let's click 96 frames on the time track. Let's click 96 frames on the time track. So this time, we can now move each petal outside the flower center. We can now move each petal outside the flower center. Let's go back to Synfig. Okay, so anong gagawin natin? Let's click first 96 frame. Okay, on the time track. So if hindi available si 96, you can click any part on the time track. Next, we can now click every petal. Okay, so pwede natin i-zoom in ulit. Click natin si petal 1, move natin siya palabas. Okay, next, petal 2. Using the green handle again, let's move it outside the flower center. Next, petal 3. Let's use again the position handle or the green handle. Next one is petal 4. And then lastly, we have petal 5. Okay, so as you can see, in each particular petal, we have waypoint. So there is a movement, okay, on that particular part. Okay, next. Let's go back to the presentation. So the next part is you can add more designs aside from the flowers and the sun na meron tayo. You can add more designs if you want to add some grass. Okay, if you want to add some backgrounds or anything on the activity, you can add. Okay, but for now, for this activity, ito lang muna yung ating characters na makikita. Okay, so once we click play button, okay, there is a movement. Okay, from 0 frame to 24 frame, that is the entering of the sun. Now from 24 frame to 96 frame, that is the blooming of the petals that we have for the flowers. Okay, now let's try to preview the animation. Let's click File on the menu bar. Look for Preview, or you can use again the shortcut key, which is F11. Then click Preview. Click Zoom in. Then let's click the play button. Okay, so as easy as that. Okay, just by clicking the Animate Editing mode, just by creating the characters and clicking the Animate Editing mode, then clicking on the frames on the time track, and then move the characters, we have now this particular animation. Okay, what's next? After creating the animation or the simple animation, I will teach you on how to properly save a file as video. Okay, we need to save that particular activity as video, or we need to render it as video. So what are the things that we need to do? We need to click first the file in the menu bar. Click File tab in the menu bar, or File Options in the menu bar. You need to look for Render. Look for Render. Okay. Next, you need to click the file name. Okay. On the end part of it, we have the extensions, that what we call. Okay. Meron pong extensions doon na tinatawag. Now, yung extensions na meron tayo for the file name, we need to change it into .avi. .avi. Okay. Now we can change we can choose the file location, and then we have the target options on the render part. We need to select FFmpeg. Okay, so FFmpeg is used for video, okay, or rendering the file as video. Okay, so let's go back to Synfig. So pakita ko po on how to do that. Let's go to File and the menu bar. Look for Render, or you can use the shortcut key, which is F9. Now, ano po yung tinutukoy na file extension? This one, yung nakikita po natin sa pinakang-dulo, yung .png. Okay? So, ginagamit po siya if you want to save the file as picture. Since we need to change it, or we need to render it as video, we need to change the .png into .avi. What's next? Go to the choose part. Okay? Then let's click what particular part on our device we need to download the file. Kung saan pa natin gusto i-save yung mismong file. Okay? Next. Sa baba po ng file name natin, you will see a target. Okay? So on this part, dito natin i-change ano pa yung gusto nating file type ng ating nire-render. Okay? Gusto ba natin GIF? Gusto ba natin JPEG? Or we can, if we want to render it as video, we can now click FFmpeg. Okay? Now after that, hindi pa tayo tapos. Beside the target, you will see the parameters. Okay? So on the parameters part, in order for us to save it properly, okay, without magkakaroon tayo ng problem, we need to change the available video codecs. Okay, again, go to the parameters part, go to available video codecs, click the drop-down arrow, make sure that you select mpeg-4 part 2 xvid/divx. Okay, so make sure that you select that particular available video codecs. Then click OK. Okay, then all you need to do is to click render. Okay, there will be a black screen na maglalabas po dyan. All you need to do is to wait for it na matapos. Okay, then after natin makita or after niyang mawala, you can now click kung saan mo sinave yung mismong file. Okay, kung saan mo sinave yung mismong file, makikita mo na doon yung mismong video ng create nating animations. Okay, so those are the things that we need to learn or we need to follow in order for us to create the activity which is a flower blooming. Okay? So I hope natuto tayo and magawa natin siya ng maayos. Okay? So thank you everyone and bye-bye.